Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very good morning to you. Welcome along to our Week 2 Assembly with our academic focus, as today we'll be presenting the gold, silver and bronze awards to our academic high achievers from Semester 1, Years 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 today, and then next week we'll do 10, 11 and 12. So a great achievement for all of them, and we will congratulate them very warmly on their hard work. Also, the prefects from McKenna House will launch the 2026 Sudsy Challenge, and Ethan and the principal will speak to us again today. So as we start, let us acknowledge the Turrbal people, the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, and we pay our respects to them and to everyone in our community of First Nations descent. Let us begin this morning with prayer.
Good morning, parents, colleagues and students. Gentlemen, today is Tuesday, July the 21st. Tomorrow, Wednesday, July the 22nd, is the feast day of a very important person within our Catholic calendar. Now, if I said to you the name Mary, I suggest that immediately your minds might go to Mother Mary, the same person I spoke about last week, the person that both of our first teams prayed toward on Saturday. There's also Mary, who is associated with Edmund Rice, the daughter of Edmund Rice, the person that was the inspiration for him to go and build schools in our island. Her name was also Mary. But there's a third Mary in our Catholic calendar, Mary Magdalene, a person who is an extraordinarily brave and loyal follower of Jesus. Some of you may be aware of Mary Magdalene and her name, but there's two stories in particular I want to talk to you about today pertaining to her. The first one is associated with absolutely extraordinary courage and leadership. When Jesus was crucified, such fear did his disciples feel that they ran from the foot of the cross so they too were not associated with him. In Jesus' moments of his last breath, only two people are said to be by his side that were his followers. One was his mother Mary, and one was Mary Magdalene, a close friend and associate. The capacity to stand in that time of fear and injustice makes her arguably the most courageous person in our gospel. But importantly and interesting, upon Jesus' resurrection 3 days later, it was Mary Magdalene that was the person that was first witness to that miracle. It was Mary Magdalene that was given the honour of being the messenger to run and tell the disciples what she had witnessed and that their lives had been changed forever. So that gift of loyalty and bravery and that responsibility of being witness and messenger is still very much relevant for us at Nudgee today. When are the times in your day where you feel uncomfortable and uncertain, yet are called to persevere and push through it? I'm sure all of you have moments this week, this month, this year, where you're unsure about what to do next. Mary reminds us that we are to be brave and back ourselves in. And likewise, when are you witness to good news? When can you be the person that proclaims hope and optimism and happiness when maybe those around you are in more of a period of despair? It's tomorrow, on July the 22nd, when we remember and pay homage to St. Mary Magdalene, one of Jesus' closest followers in the gospel. So, gentlemen, for our prayer this morning, and I think it's extremely important at an all-boys school that we do acknowledge some of those incredibly powerful female figures in our Bible, that we remember Mary Magdalene, and it's through her that we pray this morning. So I'll say the words, but I invite you to simply read along or listen. So in voice and in action, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen. Loving God, through the example of St. Mary Magdalene, teach us to seek Christ with faithful hearts. Help us to remain close to you in times of difficulty and to recognise your presence in moments of joy and hope. Like Mary Magdalene, give us the courage to share the good news of the resurrection and to be the witness of your love, mercy and compassion. And live Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Gentlemen, I have two instances of cultures of kindness to share with you this morning. But before I do, I just want to give a shout out to the McKenna prefects who are going to talk to you a little later in this assembly around the Sudsy Challenge. I'm really proud of all 9 houses and the friendship groups that you have, and we'll unpack those in a lot more detail over the next couple of weeks, because every single one of our 1,730 boys and our 200 staff are connected to really worthwhile charities. But I look forward to hearing from the McKenna boys this morning as they promote the Sudsy Challenge and Orange Sky. Gentlemen, the first picture that I have for you comes from Friday afternoon. Many of you were at the college on Saturday and had the opportunity to witness the first 5 basketball or the first 15 rugby. But our first 4 chess competed on Friday afternoon against Toowoomba Grammar. And chess is a GPS activity, but nevertheless a slightly confusing one in that crowds are not allowed to participate. Because chess is very much a game of silence and individual strategy and thought, to have hundreds of boys crowding around a board could potentially create instances of controversy. Yet nevertheless, many members of our first 5 basketball and first 15 rugby took the opportunity to go and support their brothers when they were playing chess by standing outside the classroom and peering in. Now for me, having Aidan and Luke peer through a window would be more intimidating than having boys standing around the board. Yet for those boys, respective elite athletes in their own field, to stand and simply be present to our first 4 chess was yet another wonderful example of brotherhood, of sacrifice, of service and kindness. So to those boys that took the time to stare through the window and support our first 4 chess in a really, really strong victory, I say thank you for that consideration. The second culture of kindness act here I have is for a boy by the name of Pat McAvoy. Pat may or may not know that I have this picture. This story that I'm going to share with you goes a little bit deeper than simply what Pat's doing. Pat was recently down at the Night Owl GYG complex on the far side of the athletics track, and upon walking back up to the main campus after school, when going very close to the playground, noticed that a glass bottle had been broken. Now, being really aware of the type of children that would use the playgrounds, be it nudgy students or members of the public, Pat took it upon himself to bend down and essentially pick up those shattered pieces of glass to ensure that no injuries happened to innocent families that may not have been aware. A picture was taken of Pat and subsequently forwarded to me. But this action of Pat reminded me of the opportunity that we all have in each day when we see something that's not right to act on it. Last week there was a circumstance where a student was having a little bit of a trouble with his health at the time. And a number of boys just walked past thinking, he'll be right, he'll get through it. But one student took it upon himself to go, this isn't right, this doesn't look safe, this doesn't look healthy, and inform staff. We were therefore able to render assistance to this student who really needed it. So can I remind all of you, gentlemen, it's not about broken pieces of glass or just about watching chess, but when you see the opportunity to do something, to stand up for something that doesn't look right or safe, do it, inform staff, and we can support. That's being kind, that's being a witness, that's being someone of service. Gentlemen, I wish you a very wonderful and happy week. Best of luck for all of you that are participating in activities for Nudgy. Congratulations to all of the boys receiving awards, and I pass over to our learning and teaching team.
Good morning. It's now my pleasure to commence the presentation of Gold, Silver and Bronze Academic Awards for students in Years 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 for Semester 1 2026. I invite Mr Thompson and Ms Booth to the stage to present the awards. Students' results from Semester 1 2026 are used to determine today's awards winners. To receive a Bronze Award, students must receive an A in all but 3 subjects. To receive a Silver, students have achieved an A in all but 2 subjects, and to receive a Gold Award, students must receive an A in all but 1 subject. As we announce the awards, please hold your applause until the end of each group of recipients. And in Year 5, the Bronze Award recipients are Sebastian Berger, Campbell Christie, Lennox Clark, Luke Clutie, Oscar Doljanen, Maxwell Graham, Walter Marshall, Walter Milligan, Billy O'Connor, Oscar O'Grady, Harry O'Sullivan, Ethan Reeves, and John Stanton. Can we please congratulate our Year 5 bronze medalists? In Year 5, the Silver Award recipients are Harvey Cross, Jack Hose, Thomas Russell, Sahej Sidhu, Aidan Thamberin, and Sam Velvick. Can we please congratulate our Year 5 silver medalists? In Year 5, the gold recipients are Jamie Anderson, Lockie Clancy, George Gransbury, Marsh Hinds, Dylan Ingram, DJ O'Brien, and Cohen Shodel. Can we please congratulate our Year 5 gold medalists? In Year 6, the Bronze Award recipients are Marcus Bailey, Ollie Calderwire, Ethan D. Francesco, Edward Hyatt, Murphy Hunter, and Hunter Smith. Can we please congratulate our Year 6 bronze medalists? In Year 6, the Silver Award recipients are Nikki Buumba, Elliot Cockburn, Ned Gransbury, Hamish Miller, Louis Orr, and Jasper Wright. Can we please congratulate our Year 6 silver medalists? In Year 6, the Gold Award recipients are Digby Booth, Jimmy Bra, Alex Charanika, Cooper Davis, Lincoln Dennis, Gus Geyer, Harry Hobbs, Kobe Hoofer, Baker Kerslake. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 6 gold medalists? Also receiving a gold medal in Year 6 are Finbar McCaffrey, Vincent Moore, Easton Murphy, Josh Oddie, Chase Page, Hugo Palela, Sawyer Pugh, Marcus Waugh, and Hugo Witteveen. I'd now like to congratulate our final group of Year 6 gold medalists. Could I now please welcome Studies Prefect Cooper Keel to the stage?
It is my privilege to present the academic awards to students in Year 7. Please hold your applause until the end of each group. In Year 7, the Bronze Award recipients are Bill Ashney, Carey Clifford, Alfred Cover, Tate Hyde, Joshua Lenz, Akira Nakagawa, Jack O'Connor, Henry Oswald, Jackson Overs, Owen Palmer. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 7 bronze medalists? Also receiving a bronze award in Year 7 are Jack Peach, Georgie Reedy, Jono Ross, Jack Sargent, Jack Shefferman, William Schofield, Theo Tabua, Luke Turner, Toby Wilson, can we please congratulate our final group of Year 7 bronze medalists? In Year 7, the Silver Award recipients are Pius Ung, Ethan Brettle, Xavier Chisholm, Harvey Coppard, Teddy Denver Fetter, Oliver Hilton, James Lee, Leo Lee, William Lobban, Mason Mandich, Ethan Mullins, Alfie Pybus, Harjap Sidhu, Max Teresi. Can we please congratulate our Year 7 silver medalists? In Year 7, the Gold Award recipients are Aidan Brennan, Patrick Chappell, Sanjot Dhaliwal, who is absent today, Spencer Dolad, Hugo Glasson, Kingston Massingale, Jack McAndrew, Josh Pereira, Louis Thomas, Lachlan Warhurst, can we please congratulate our Year 7 gold medalists? I would now like to welcome Studies Prefect Jacob Brown to the stage.
It is my privilege to present the academic awards to students in Year 8. Please hold your applause until the end. In Year 8, the bronze award recipients are Taj Brogan, James Brown, Ronan Clancy, Cooper Field, Fergus Finola, Liam Gleeson, James Graham, Tristan Holman Lee, who is absent today, Cooper Jones, Tristan Jones, Christian Lee, can we please congratulate our first group of Year 8 bronze medalists? Also receiving a bronze award in Year 8 are Leon McGregor, Emmanuel Marino, Archie McDonald, Oliver Novick, Mason Pickering, Rocky Rosenthal, Aidan Skarinki, Jono Webb, can we please congratulate our final group of Year 8 bronze medalists? In Year 8, the silver award recipients are Ethan Arango Lizarald, Hayden Brennan, Harry Brown, Finn Cotton, Luke Cotmore, Noah Graham, Andrew Griffiths, Hamish Patel, Barnaby Peckham, Rohan Schiffner, Maximus Scott, Armitage Singh, Archie Spur, Hugo Wheeler, can we please congratulate our Year 8 silver medalists? In Year 8, the gold award recipients are Fletcher Andrews, Ethan Blewett. Oliver Clancy. Saxon Crewcamp. Will Kerno. Christopher Dallymore. Rayhan Dialwis. Ollie DeYoung. Hugo Heath. Thomas Kennedy. Noah Lesh. Alec Livett. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 8 gold medalists? Also receiving a gold award in Year 8 are Rory McCaffrey, Jaden McHugh, Harrison Mullins, Freddie Orr, Rithvik Ramesh, Luke Shimada Coscarella, Hugh Swaffield, Parker Thompson, Ryan Thompson, Samuel Wells, Raiden Whitby, Jack Williams, can we please congratulate our final group of Year 8 gold medalists? I would now like to welcome Studies Prefect Roman Jones to the stage.
It is my privilege to present the academic awards to students in Year 9. Please hold your applause until the end. In Year 9, the Bronze Award recipients are Sharon Baring, Kanwar Bra, Tom Eagles, Eli Hodges, Angus Nichols, Jonathan Chappell, Cooper North, Daniel O'Brien, Janav Patel, and Mac Payne. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 9 bronze medalists? Also receiving a bronze award in Year 9, Evan Prasad, Jacob Rorder, Luke Seaton, Alexander Shave, Charlie Smith, who is absent today, Ange Sony, Archie Stoneman, Liam Strome, Tyler Timms, and to Aidan Weaver. Can we please congratulate our final group of Year 9 bronze medalists? In Year 9, the Silver Award recipients are Finn Andrews, Leon Bergenon, Marcus Zarin, Cooper Henderson, Jack Hobbs, Miguel King-Scott, Jude LaRosa, Pawasa Logova, George Momfries, and Leo Mullins. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 9 silver medalists? Also receiving a silver award in Year 9 are Max Porter, Hayden Rice, Archer Skillen, Toby Smith, Jack Strayhorn, Jasper Telford Challoner, Cormac Thompson, Cooper Tierney, Daniel White, Jack Wilkins, Mitchell Windle, and Xavier Whisker. Can we please congratulate our final group of Year 9 silver medalists? In Year 9, the gold recipients are Trayshawn Achari, Darcy Andrea, Matthias Beckers, Alex Brennan, Isaac Brown, Tom Carter, Dirhan Dawaj, Sebastian Janitz, David Grindle, Fred Guppy, Sam Hall, and Mitchell Halpin. Can we please congratulate our first group of Year 9 gold medalists? Also receiving a gold award in Year 9 are Vaughan Jenkinson, Ethan Jalil, Austin Lassalo, Stephen Minio, George Mitchell, Evan Monahan, George Morgan, Diesel Piper, Finn Sargent, Max Stephenson, Jack Tiernan, and Will Zillman. Can we please congratulate our final group of Year 9 gold medalists?
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, parents, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. Every day, more than 122,000 Australians experience homelessness. It's easy to think of homelessness as someone else's problem, but behind every statistic is a real person with a real story. Financial hardship, relationship breakdowns, domestic and family violence, mental and physical health challenges, and circumstances beyond a person's control can all lead to someone losing their home. At its core, homelessness is about more than the absence of a roof over someone's head. It's about losing the security, stability, and sense of belonging that so many of us take for granted. McKenna's House charity Orange Sky is devoted to helping the homelessness and promotes their charity through fundraisers such as the one McKenna men do every year. Known as the Sudsy Challenge. McKenna take part in a 3-day challenge in wearing an orange shirt, raising awareness for homelessness. Please welcome Brother Price to talk more about the Sudsy Challenge.
I had the honour of working with homeless people for about 17 or so years. And the photo that comes up now, that I hope comes up soon, that will come up one day, the one on this side has a man in a blue-coloured beanie. His name was Terry. And Terry one day was behind the wheel of a car and he'd been using all sorts of drugs. And his little 8-year-old girl was sitting next to him. And he was driving along badly and fast. And he took a corner badly, crashed his car, and his little daughter was then killed. Terry, as a result of that, spent time in kind of jail. And when he came out of jail, he could not cope. So he lived out on the streets. So the red coat you see Terry wearing, he never took off. Ever did he take it off. And Terry would go to the toilet, and in his trousers he had holes at the back, and he had a safety pin. He would never take his trousers off. He would undo this safety pin at the back, go to the toilet, and then he would do up his trousers again. Terry smelt. And I can remember day after day being out on the van, and Terry would come over and you would smell him a metre or two away. And the plastic bags you see over his arms, all day, every day, he would go around the centre of the city and go from bin to bin, and he would pick out some food out of the bins. But he carried those bags over his arms. Why? Because all down his arms were marks and cuts from when he had the accident in the car and he killed his own girl. He didn't want to see those marks. So the photo on the other side is the two founders of the Orange Sky van. Nick Marchese was at an Edmund Rice school. He was in year 9. And we had a rule that you couldn't do Eddie's van until year 10. And one day this year 9 boy came to me and said, "Sir, can I go out on the van?" And I said, no, Nick, you can't because you've got to be in year 10. He said, "Please, sir, can I go out on the van?" I said, "No, you have to be in year 10. 2 weeks after that, his wonderful mother, Claire, came to me and said, "Hey, sir, I'm on the van during the school break, but I can't volunteer in the van because I've got to take care of my year 9 boy." I said, "Claire, your son is 14. And she said, "But sir, I can't go out." So I let Nick Marchesi, a year 9 boy, go out on the van with his wonderful mum. One year 9 boy put up his hand. One year 9 boy said, "I want to go and be in community and relationship with people doing it tough." Because of that one year 9 boy, Orange Sky started in their first year after they had left school. Because of one year 9 boy, thousands and thousands of homeless women and men could wash their own clothes, have a shower. So the Sudsy Challenge is not about showers and the chance to have your gear washed. It's about relationship and the dignity of people. Before I finish, could everyone put up one hand? Come on, everybody, staff, parents, everyone. All it takes is one hand to make a difference. Thank you.
So what difference can one orange shirt actually make? For most of us, doing the washing is just another job around the house. But imagine wearing the same clothes for weeks because you simply had no other option. Something as ordinary as clean clothes can make the difference between walking confidently into a job interview, visiting a doctor, or simply feeling comfortable enough to have a conversation. That's the impact your fundraising can have. Slide change, please. Behind me, you can see what raising money looks like in real terms. Raising $26 provides a full load of washing and a hot shower for those struggling. Raise $48 and you've covered laundry and a shower for 2 people. By raising just this amount, you will also receive an orange Sudsy shirt for the 3-day challenge next week. Every dollar is a step closer for a load of washing, a shower, and a chance for someone to sit down and feel human again. But the Sudsy Challenge is more about than just fundraising. It's an opportunity for each of us as nudgy men to be called to look beyond ourselves, step up when our community needs us, and lead by example. Wearing the orange shirt is a simple but visible way of showing that commitment. It starts conversations, raises awareness, and reminds others that even small actions can make a meaningful difference.
You may have seen on the student notices that staff have nominated to stand up and get involved when we reach certain fundraising milestones. As seen on the screen behind me, so far we have hit all the milestones we initially set, which means Mr. Ayres, Mr. Betteridge, Mr. Andrews, Mr. Corley, Brother Price, Mr. Waugh, Mr. Graham, Miss Mann, Mr. O'Sullivan, Mr. Smith, Miss Hale, Mr. Horrocks, and our $10,000 man, Mr. Adams, will all don the orange shirt next week. For the first time, we're inviting every one of our 10,000 brothers to get involved. So whether you're in Year 5 or Year 12, this is an opportunity for all of us to stand together, start conversations, and support Australians doing it tough. When you sign up, you're not doing this alone. You're joining a team that already includes house deans, members of the CLT, house prefects, and our college captain, all standing together to support this important cause. Signing up couldn't be easier. Raise $48, receive your official Sudsy shirt, wear it across the 3-day challenge next Wednesday to Friday, and join us for a free barbecue on us as a thank you for getting involved. So let's see what the Nudgee community can achieve together. Let's set a new goal, get more orange shirts around the college than ever before, and make this our biggest Sudsy challenge yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Price and McKenna Men. Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, parents, and good morning, Nudgy gents. It turns out that I don't want to talk too much about the Football World Cup today after England's meek exit, but I will make a couple of mentions. I want to talk this morning about the myth of the hero and the power of the squad. I got a few questions last week about why we presented 13 boys on stage for the first basketball squad when obviously only 5 players are on the court at a time. The answer is pretty simple: 5 on the court, but 7 permitted substitutes, 7 additional members of the squad. And the 13th student presented was a standout player who's currently injured and hopefully will play a big part later in the season. This is similar to what we do for football, where we normally present a squad of around 18, and for volleyball as well. In rugby, we have a long-standing tradition of naming the starting 15 for round 1 rather than the entire squad on stage. Mr. Scottney and Jack Burton mentioned a fair number of squad members not starting that game in round 1, but who will play a massive part this season. Indeed, many took to the field in round 1 already. Common sense will tell you as well that fitting 25 first 15 bodies up on stage here is also a practical space issue as well. So putting that aside, I thought it's a fantastic opportunity off the back of those questions to highlight the importance of a squad and what it means as an individual to understand and embrace your specific role within a team. One statistic from that Football World Cup that I wasn't going to talk about, that probably hasn't been talked about enough, is that the eventual winners Spain conceded just 1 goal in 8 games, showing a defence and a unit that understands their roles and executes them perfectly. It's the reason that Spain's teamwork proved too much for France in that semi-final, despite the incredible attacking talent of Mbappe, Elise, Dembele and several others. It's also the reason that players regularly came off their bench to impact the game. Mikel Merino scoring winners in 2 of the games, and Ferran Torres, who scored the winner in the final. That teamwork is also how Cape Verde, or Cabo Verde, a country with a population smaller than the Gold Coast, came to the World Cup with 26 players playing for 25 different clubs across 14 different countries, but created an environment focused on one single purpose. If one cog in that machine had not done its job, teams with vastly superior individual talent would have swept them aside. But they got results against Spain, against Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and very, very nearly knocked out Argentina. To use an example from those other finalists, Argentina, they've got arguably the best player to ever have played the game in Lionel Messi. But Messi's highlights reel only exists because of the unglamorous, sometimes ugly, work done by those outside the spotlight. If everyone wants to be the goal scorer, nobody is making the tackles, nobody is setting the screen, and the team inevitably falls apart. There's a reason that FIFA provided every single member of that Spain squad, including the backroom staff, with a World Cup winners' medal. You may have heard of Dennis Rodman with the Chicago Bulls or Draymond Green with the Golden State Warriors. They weren't the highest scorers. They weren't taking the final shot. But without their work, setting hard screens, boxing out, talking on defence and diving for loose balls, Steph Curry and Michael Jordan don't win those championship rings. They embrace the role that wasn't flashy. Whatever your role is for your Nudgy team this season, starter, defender, set-up man, communicator, do it like it's the most important job on the field, because it is. If you're starting on the bench this weekend, it's easy to feel frustrated, but basketball and rugby teams don't rely on 5 or 15 players. They rely on an entire squad. Many top coaches don't even use the word substitutes or replacements anymore. Eddie Jones likes to call them the finishers. For the Springboks, they famously call them the bomb squad. They are an essential part of the strategy and integral to the team and integral to winning. Most players want to start, but starting on the bench is a role. Even staying on the bench is a role, and being a great teammate is a role. So as you play sport for Nudgy this term, ask yourself, are you performing the role for your team on the day? Are you celebrating when a teammate scores or makes a big play? Are you locked in, warmed up, and ready the second you get the call to run on? It's about putting the team above your own ego, because victory feels 10 times better when you win together. Consider two great moments in rugby union international history. Japan in the 2015 World Cup. Trailing the Springboks 32-19 with the clock in the red, Japan was awarded a penalty right in front of the posts. A kick would guarantee a historic 32-all draw, but they turned down the easy points to tap and run for the win. For 19 grueling phases, every single player executed their precise role. Prop forwards making desperate clearance rucks, centres taking hard collisions, and wingers holding their width, until substitute Khan Hesketh dived over in the corner. Victory didn't come from a single moment or a superstar. It came from a team, in fact a squad, making hundreds of consecutive selfless decisions under maximum pressure. In the 2023 Rugby World Cup final, flanker Peter Steph Dutoy produced one of the most selfless defensive performances ever recorded. He didn't score or make any highlight reel line breaks. Instead, he made an astounding 28 tackles in 80 minutes, completely neutralising the All Blacks' attack. He accepted his assignment and he executed it perfectly. He won man of the match, not for a flashy try, but for doing the heavy, invisible lifting. You don't need to score the winning try or the three-pointer to be the hero. Doing the invisible and glamorous work for your teammates is what wins games and builds teams. As you head into your fixtures this weekend, gents, whether it's basketball, rugby, or perhaps for your club team, ask yourself, am I trying to build my own highlight reel, or am I doing my best role for my team, for my squad? Embrace that role, support and back your teammates. Thanks for listening, gents, and good luck with your sport this weekend. I now welcome Ethan Andrews.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, staff, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. Back in November last year, Pricey handed Vinny, Digger, and I one of these books. He didn't just tell us why, he just said two words: read it. This book here is called Legacy, and it is written by James Kerr. Now, those who know me also know I'm probably not the biggest reader. So in true fashion, I read the first 10 pages that night, put it down, and if I'm being honest, didn't pick it up again for nearly 2 months. It actually wasn't until January that I opened it back up, because I was attempting to read a whole book as my New Year's resolution. In saying that, I'm still only a little over halfway through, but I think there are some amazing lessons that have already really stuck with me. When Pricey gave me the book, I looked at the front cover and just thought it was about some player that had a few injuries and fought his way back into the team, or maybe a few stories about the All Blacks and a few World Cups. But after reading it, I realised it isn't really a book about rugby at all. The book explores the culture and leadership principles behind one of the most successful sporting teams in the world. The first chapter is simply called Character. One of the very first stories in the chapter talks about what happens after an All Blacks test match. While the crowd is celebrating, the media interviewing players, and millions of people around the world are watching the highlights, the All Blacks are back in the sheds, cleaning them. Not because someone tells them to, not because they have to, but because they believe that no one is ever bigger than the team. The chapter calls this sweeping the sheds. It is a simple idea, but it's a powerful one. No matter how successful or respected someone becomes, they should never think they're too important to do the little things. That's exactly the sort of character Nudgy is trying to shape. Not the character that's judged on a Saturday afternoon, the character that's built on a Tuesday night when you're sitting at your desk studying instead of taking the easy option to scroll on your phone or just do nothing. When you've already trained for 2 hours, you're exhausted and you still help walk equipment back to the sheds. When you pick up a piece of rubbish that isn't yours or thank someone who often goes unnoticed. People often will look at you a lot of the time and only see the result. They will see the scoreboard, not the months of training, the report cards, and not all the nights spent studying. They see all the success, but not the character that produced it. There's another line in the book that has never left me. Better people make better All Blacks. Not better players, but better people. The exact same thing applies here, which brings me to this weekend. This Saturday, our first 5 basketballers have one of the biggest challenges of the year. The boys had an incredible start to the season against TGS last weekend and have shown that they are real contenders for the Prem. And then in the afternoon, the first 15 will face an Ipswich Grammar side that is equally as talented. But boys, last weekend, as I was playing on Ross, I couldn't help but look around and notice that the left corner of the grandstand was vacant. When you're out on the field fighting for your school and you look back to see that your Nudgy brothers could not fill the grandstand, even with the amount of people that come to the school, it drops your confidence pretty fast. So if you want a basketball premiership or Nudgy College's 47th rugby premiership, then this Saturday it starts with you. The boys playing will do their job if you do yours and outnumber IGS. Games aren't just won by the 15 boys on a rugby field or the 5 boys on a basketball court. They are won by every single person who chooses to stand beside them. One of the final ideas and legacy is that every All Black wears the jersey for only a short period of time before handing it on. Their responsibility is to leave it in a better place than they found it. None of us will be at Nudgy forever. And we too only get a few short years of wearing the blue and white. So if you play, you stay, and if you don't play, you come anyway. Thank you, and I would like to welcome Mr. Thompson to the stage.
Good morning to our very valued and special guests. I say it over and over again, but it amazes me how many parents engage in our assembly. So thank you very much, parents and loved ones and carers. You're very welcome here, and I thank you for your presence. Good morning to my very valued colleagues, the staff of Nudgy College, and finally, good morning, gentlemen of Nudgy College. Thank you for your attention so far. It's always a wonderful assembly where we get to recognise your fellow Nudgy brothers, and it was great to see well over 200 boys across the stage here attaining academic awards. One thing that I do want to talk about, however, is something that we don't celebrate enough, but it's a very significant increase that we've had lately. Over the last 18 months, gentlemen at Nudgy College, we've really started to address and focus and hone in on what we're doing in the classroom. And that starts from those small things, those entry routines, how we begin classes, how we end classes. It also includes what staff are doing to ensure that your learning is the best it possibly can be. And across those 18 months, I just want to share with you a couple of very general statistics that talk about what we didn't see on stage here. Because as we know, today we celebrated those who are attaining A's. When we look at learning habits, you don't have to attain A's, but you need to make sure that you are attentive in class and giving your best. But at the other end of the scale, we always understand that for some boys, they struggle with their learning. And they work really hard to try and improve their learning. So I'm just going to share a couple of statistics here with you. Across our school, from semester 1 last year's reports through to the most recent semester reports, we've seen that there are 50 less boys across the school who are getting 1 D or an E on their report card. So that's a wonderful progression that we've got there. We've also seen the number of boys who are getting 2 Ds or E's decrease by half. So we've seen that number who got in semester 1 in 2025 through to semester 1 in 2026, that number is halved. So all of that work that we've commenced from the beginning of 2025 to ensure that we've got consistent practices across the school, to ensure that instead of just talking about learning is our number one priority, actually doing something about it, we're starting to see those results, gents. So I want to applaud all of those young men who may not be across the stage yet. I'll never say ever, but may not be across the stage yet for an academic award. But we're seeing some great gains and wonderful progress in that area there. So I'd like a round of applause for that level of improvement across the school. I say it often that learning is our number one priority, and that continues to be the case. Everything else that occurs, and we heard Mr. Pybus talk about the sporting activities. Last week we saw some wonderful cultural activities here. We saw a great example through the McKenna House of some of our social justice initiatives. But our number one priority is our learning what occurs from period 1 through to period 5, and that will continue to be the way. Thank you, I mentioned just before, but thank you to the McKenna House boys for their wonderful presentation there. And we heard a great message by Brother Damien. And if, we're just asking the AV crew at the back on the spot, but if you could flash up one of those pictures of the orange sky people. No, orange sky. Sorry, the one where we've got the vans and everything. Well, I read an article, perfect. I read an article a couple of years ago from Lucas and Nick, who, as Brother Damien said, were Edmund Rice students as well. And they said that whilst that truck that you see in the background there is vitally important because it has all of the washing facilities and the cleaning facilities, they said the most important piece of equipment that they have in their entire organisation, and you heard Brother Damien saying that tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people have been positively affected by that, but they said the most important piece of equipment that they carry around are those little fold-out chairs. Because what it does, it gives an opportunity for the volunteers and those people who are taking advantage of that service to sit down and engage in a conversation, to connect at a human level. Because for so many of those people who are homeless, who are on the fringes and the outliers of our society, like every other human, like each one of you, they crave that human connection. So one of the most important things, of all the good things that happen there, are the conversations, the relationships and the connections that are made there. And that's reflected in the beautiful work that many of you do with our social justice program here at Nudgee as well. So to all those involved in the Sudsy Challenge, I thank you, and I thank all the others who aren't involved, but you now know ways that you can go in and support those people who will be involved in that next week. Being a Nudgee student brings with it immense privileges for which we should be incredibly grateful. We're blessed with that famous Nudgee spirit, a staff that is extraordinary, generous, talented and committed, and a genuine sense of brotherhood and engagement. We enjoy outstanding facilities and inherit a rich, wonderful history. A vital part of that legacy rests in the achievements of our 10,000 brothers who came before you. Their legacy is forged both here on the Mount at Boondall under Mary's watchful gaze and out in the world long after their school days are done. Last Sunday, I had the honour of accompanying 7 of our boarders to the Ipswich RSL Memorial Hall for the 110th anniversary of the Battle of Fromelles, hosted by the 31st Battalion Association. We'd like to thank the gents who made the trip out to Ipswich. They're all doing it again next week. They loved it that much. Cormac, Ned, Ben, Jerry, Pat, Hugo and Arthur. As you can see in the image, they were being great Nudgee men throughout the day. And as you can see in the bottom right there, they saw a need and they acted on it. Just another little act of culture of kindness act. The chairs needed to be stacked following the ceremony, so they got in and did it. Now, gents, the 31st Battalion Association was commemorating an incredibly vicious and tragic battle that took place over July 19 and 20 in 1916. During that conflict, 5,513 Australians lost their lives. I want you to think of that just for a moment, just to pause there. In a single 24-hour period, a young Australian nation of fewer than 5 million people lost over 5,000 of its citizens. The 31st Battalion, raised right here in Brisbane, was deeply instrumental in that battle. One of the men honoured on Sunday was Francis Ryan Smith. Frank, as he was known, was a hero of the First World War who received numerous honours, the highest being the Military Cross. But before he was a decorated soldier, like you, he was a nudgy boy. He attended this college in 1911 and 1912 as a day boy living in Newstead, making him one of our very earliest day students. Our only existing record of Frank's time here is a short passage in the 1911 annual, which you can see on the screen behind me. It notes one defining characteristic of his youth. He was an amazing singer. Frank, amazingly, would become the last Australian aircraft casualty in World War I, shot down just 2 days before the end of the war. His survival tale is nothing short of miraculous. It involved being smuggled across enemy lines by a brave Belgian family with the help of some Jesuit priests in Belgium. And in his own report of the incident, Frank described how he used the very talent noted in the 1911 Nudgee Annual. He sang for the Belgian family to prove to them he was indeed an Australian. Frank survived the war and went on to become an engineer. When the Second World War broke out, he answered the call and served once again, helping to train a new generation of pilots and playing a key role in establishing both the Amberley and Oakey air bases. He raised 2 daughters and by all accounts lived a very happy and deeply fulfilling life. So what can the nudgy men of today learn from a day boy who walked these grounds over a century ago? I believe Frank's life leaves us with 3 distinct lessons. Your unique talents matter. Frank was a soldier, a pilot and an engineer, but it was his singing voice that helped save his life behind enemy lines. Never discount the unique gifts you develop here, whether on the sporting field, in the classroom or on the stage. You never know when you will need to call upon them. Resilience in the face of adversity. To be shot down just 2 days before the end of a devastating global conflict, to rely on strangers and to navigate enemy lines requires immense courage and resilience. Frank teaches us to never give up, no matter how dire the circumstances or how close we are to the finish line. And finally, a lifelong commitment to service. Frank didn't just serve his country once. He survived the horrors of World War I, but not only did he survive the horrors of World War I, but he built a successful civilian life, only to step up again and train others during World War II. He used his education and his engineering skills to build infrastructure that still protects our country today. He lived a life not just for himself, but for others. Gentlemen, you're part of the same brotherhood as Frank Smith. As you go about your week, I challenge you to think about what legacy you are building today and how you too can use those gifts to serve the world both within and beyond these gates. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Next week marks Mental Wellbeing Week here at the college. Mental health is something that affects us all. Issues regarding mental health can happen to anyone here in this room, whether it be your favorite athlete, your teacher, your best mate, or to someone you least expect. All of us go through rough patches in life, and our mental health may often suffer. Just know that no one is immune to mental health struggles. As men in particular, we often forget to express how we are feeling. Sometimes we feel the need to bottle it up and keep it to ourselves. We may think that that's what makes us strong, that as men, we should be resilient and tough, and that nothing should affect us. But true strength comes from being transparent with how we are feeling and being courageous enough to reach out to support when we need it. So with that being said, this Friday, us seniors will launch Mental Wellbeing Week. The week will include a range of PC activities, lunchtime activities, and some activities with the house during SF. Make sure to get around it, and I'll pass on a digger for the week ahead.
Before I start the week ahead, I'd like to give parents and special guests the opportunity to make an exit before we do. Before the week ahead, I'd just like to announce that the Nudgee College podcast Unscripted is back for its third season under the title Unscripted, a 135-year celebration. It's a series where it's celebrating and looks back on the 135 years of history that has helped shape Nudgee become what it has today. First episode is dropping today at 3 p.m, so make sure to give it a watch, starring the college archivist John Sayer. To the week ahead. Tomorrow, school photos are 7 to 9. Make sure a reminder, uniform is looking smick for that. Then SF, 7, 8, 10, 11 are in classrooms. 11s are in teenie after PC, and then seniors, we have our Kairos catch-up after Kairos. Meet in Duig and check your emails to see what classroom that is. Thursday, Barrett have their house mass, and then it's the Nudgee boarding Christmas in July with Stuart home. Saturday, it's Ippy away fixtures. Friday night as well for chess. That's a really big round for all the boys. Basketball and Ipswich. Make sure if you play, you stay. Sunday is the boarding music ensemble workshop and the boarders mass. I now invite College Super Senior Bon Bradley to do 3 cheers.
Thank you, Bond, and congratulations again to all of our academic award winners. If you were one of the recipients of one of the academic awards, could I please ask you to remain behind at the end of this assembly? We're going to do a quick group photo. So after the assembly concludes, just make your way down to the front here in front of the stage and we'll grab a quick photo. Thank you, gentlemen. I want to dismiss you nice and quickly, but that needs your attention. So can I get you sitting up straight, paying attention and listening? Getting better. Thank you. Now, second reminder, it is your photos tomorrow and Thursday if you're in the junior school, so make sure you're coming in your full school uniform for those days, okay? You need to be dressed sharp, looking sharp, haircuts, grooming, all in order for those photos tomorrow. Thanks for your attention throughout today's assembly. Duggan and Barrett, you are welcome to head off. Thank you very much. Shaw and Riley, thank you very much. Can't quite see the sign. Is that Tierney back there? Tierney, you're welcome to head out. Thank you.